mean, it's definitely been a journey and it's been a learning. Like I said, even though my mom thought of the name, we thought of the name many years ago, figuring out that this could be full time or like that I could be compensated for my work has been, even till this day, such a step by step. I remember being at my first dine. It was a media dine that I was invited to. It was an Italian place in Wynwood, and people sitting at the table, oh, did you get this email for this campaign, or oh, are you and I was just sitting there like absorbing it, like, wait, like there's so much opportunity. So just like step by step learning, hearing different things, and then of course doing my own research. But it's not like I went to college and there was a course for this and it's like, okay, now this is how you do a media kit. I remember when I first even heard about a media kit, and now I'm so proud of the one that I've put together and that I send out, and it has my rates and all my insights. And but yeah, it's just been a learning, figuring it out.
Yeah, it's crazy. Hi, friends. It's Kayla Moran, and welcome back to the Let's Get Candid podcast. I have officially graduated from law school. I am now Kayla Moran JD, which is a Juris Doctor. I have a doctorate degree. I had to explain that to my mom, but as I was explaining that to my mom, it just hit me like, holy crap, I have a doctorate degree. I don't feel like I deserve it. I don't feel like I should have a doctorate degree, but I do. I earned it. I put in the time, the energy, the effort. I invested in myself, and I am so damn proud of myself. And I'm officially back home in Miami. I am currently in my new desk setup. Temporarily, I will officially be working out of my grandma's house. But for now, we put my desk in my house, in my office with my mom. I'll share it when she works from home. And that's cool. Like, I like having a new setup, a new scenery, and I get to look outside my window into the sunshine, and it's bright in here, even though I don't have like the actual lights on, but there's still light in here, which is really nice. And it's going to be a great setup for studying and being productive. And I like that, at some point during the day, my parents do come home and I do get to see them and have dinner with them and talk to humans. And yeah, I've been home for about 2 days now, and things have been going really well. Quite a few funny stories have happened, which I'll share with you guys in a little bit. But yeah, it's surreal. Like, it hasn't hit me yet, and I know it's not going to hit me for a while. I think maybe when I get my diploma in the mail and I can hang it up. I bought the frame, and my mom yesterday, as we were setting up the office, was like, this is where we're going to hang your diploma. And the little teddy bear that I got at graduation is right next to it on the bookshelf. And we're going to hang up my cords and all of that. And it just feels really weird, but really good. And I just can't believe I'm back home in Miami for good. It feels really nice to be home. And with that, a couple of exes have come out of the woodwork. My mom was like, just wait, like that's going to happen. You're home now. People want to reconnect. And it's just funny. One of them saw me because, and I mean exes like very loosely, like people I've talked to or dated in the past, like 10, 15 years, like nothing crazy. But it was funny. One of them is connected to one of my dad's classmates from his master's program a couple of years ago on LinkedIn. And because she commented on my dad's post congratulating me for getting my degree, he saw it on his LinkedIn and he was like, it's so funny that I saw you. Like, I didn't know that this person that she was always talking about was actually your dad, but congratulations. And it's just really funny that I popped up on his LinkedIn, and it just goes to show how small of a world it really is, especially in Miami, but in all honesty, just how small the world really is, 6 degrees of separation and all of that, which is why I talk about networking and how important it is, but I won't go on to that here. I just thought that was funny. And then a guy that I used to see back in high school when we were juniors in high school, so literally 9 years ago, congratulated me and, was like, let's get drinks now that you're back. And I just thought that was really funny. And, Yeah, it's been a really good couple of days busy. Yesterday, I had a doctor's appointment to get my life in order, and I started unpacking quite a bit, did my desk. What else did I do yesterday? I formed my LLC for Connecta Social, which is going to be my influencer management agency. I have briefly talked about that before. I don't think I've fully announced it or told you guys what it is. But I will do that closer to September when it's going to launch. But so yesterday, I filed the LLC for that to get the ball rolling because Delaware is super delayed. So it's going to take quite a few months to get all of the paperwork done. So wanted to go ahead and get started just so when I'm ready to launch, everything is up and running. I got the certificate of formation for Kayla Moran LLC, which is going to be my blog and my podcast and Instagram and all of my business and income that comes through those platforms. So I filed that in March and I got the certificate of formation 2 days ago. So that's how delayed they are. But I got that on Monday. So yesterday I put the files, in my file cabinet, on my computer, of course, and digitally. And I got my EIN for Connecta Social, and I put all of the documents away where they go in the different folders I have on my computer. I wrote a draft of a mental health blog post that I'm working with a brand on that I'm really excited to share with you guys in the next couple of weeks. I had a cocktail making class with a brand that I will be working with later this summer on a 3-month partnership. Don't want to tell you guys what brand it is quite yet because you'll start seeing the content in a couple of weeks as well. But yeah, I am really excited. I had this feeling that once I moved home, things would just start happening for me and opportunities would come. And that was why I was so unhappy in Tennessee. One of the many reasons, but I wanted to have things to do. I wanted options. I wanted opportunities that I wasn't getting in Tennessee because I wasn't happy and I wasn't surrounded by the people that were interested in the same things as I was. And, it's important to be surrounded by people that are different from you and have different views and gain value of experience and knowledge with people that are not like-minded. But I knew that I wanted to be in a city that had that creativity hub, that energy, because it's innate in me and it's important to me. And so I'm really excited to be back, especially now that Miami is blowing up with tech and crypto and so many people are moving and there's just a lot of things happening here. With that, though, I am really sad that Miami is losing the culture of Miami that made it so special, the Latin culture primarily. And I talked a little bit about that on stories the other night. So if you follow me, you might have seen that. But yeah, so I had this feeling that things were going to start happening for me. And sure enough, the minute that I'm driving home from Tennessee, we are in the car and I start getting emails about gifted opportunities, events, partnerships, contracts, things start happening for me. And it makes me so happy. And I'm really excited because I have quite a few new partnerships coming up in the next few months. And I keep turning them away. Also, the ones that I can't do yet, come back to me in September. People have started pitching me for podcast guests, which I've always been the one to do the outreach for every guest I've had and every guest I'm going to have in the first year of the podcast. I have been the one to reach out to them. So it's really crazy that 8 months in, about 3,000 downloads in, I'm starting to get people pitching me to come on. And, they're using agencies. PR agencies are reaching out to me to get their people on my podcast, which is freaking cool. I got a PR package last night. I have a Princess Polly collab coming out this month, and I'm really excited. I got some clothes for my bar trip. I got some clothes for summer, and just some basic pieces that are going to go with everything. And of course, even though I will be studying the majority of the summer, I still have nights and weekends where I can do things if I make time to do them. So I got a couple of pieces for cute outfits throughout there. And I did get a little dressed up today to study. And, I'm going to get dressed up to study on days that I really feel like it or need that extra boost of confidence because, it always feels good to put on an outfit, even if I have no makeup on, my hair's in a bun, but putting on an outfit makes you feel really, really good. And so I want to do a quick suck and sweet of the week, and then I will introduce my guest, which actually her and I have quite a lot in common, and I will let you guys hear us chat about it all. But she is my G-Big from college. I was in Kappa Delta sorority at the University of Central Florida, and she was my G-Big, so my big's big, and her and I have stayed the closest, and it's really cool to chat with her. But really fast, before I introduce what we're going to talk about, suck and sweet of the week. So my suck of the week is that, I feel guilty for not really having any emotions about graduation, like truly. And I know people keep telling me, like, don't feel that way. You did it, you earned it, you deserve it. But I really just feel like I should have more feelings and more emotions about it. And I don't know what that says about me. But it could also just be that I mourned that time in my life and that chapter closing for so long. I've been mourning it for months. And now that it's finally here, it's okay that I don't feel really emotional about it. But I didn't cry at graduation, which I didn't expect to. The only time I got a little bit teary-eyed was when our dean, who was retiring, and this was his last graduation, his last class in 30 years, and I'm really close to him. If you saw my reel, you saw that he hugged me when I walked across the stage, which I don't think he did for anyone else, according to my family. And other people that I talked to, so which was really cool. But he got emotional. Was super choked up throughout the whole ceremony, and that was what made me teary-eyed. But beyond that, like, I really didn't. It was just, I was happy, but I wasn't as ecstatic as I expected to be, and I wasn't sad, which was very strange. So that's my suck of the week. But my sweet of the week is, of course, that I'm back home in Miami, and the weather is beautiful. It is hot, but it is beautiful here. There's an ocean breeze. Being back in my room, while I was away, my mom has slowly but surely gone decorating it in my adult taste, because it is my childhood bedroom. And it just feels really good to have a space that I can truly call my own and decorate how I want. And it just feels really good. And getting to see the dogs, of course. My dog Finch is right next to me, and my brother's dog Sarge was here, but they are going back to Tampa today. But I'll see them again in 2 weeks for my brother's 21st birthday. But yeah, so that's a little bit of a life update, what's going on around here. I am officially going to be head first into bar prep as of Tuesday, May 31st, because this weekend is Memorial Day weekend, so we are going away for the beach, and I'm going to take the weekend to unplug and really enjoy my time away and enjoy and celebrate, because it's a really exciting and big accomplishment, and I deserve the break. And one of the biggest things about bar prep is knowing that you need to take breaks and take care of yourself and your mental health, and not stop seeing friends or family or loved ones or significant others throughout the process, because it is hard, it is time consuming, it is intense, but it's only 2 months and it's going to be worth it. So you don't want to lose the people that have gotten you this far along the way. But yeah, so today's guest is Taylor Dante. She is the founder of Taysty Travels on Instagram and TikTok, and she is a food blogger. And when I met her in college back in 2015, neither of us really knew the power of social media. It wasn't really a thing yet. And she is actually one of the first people, and I think I talk about this during the episode, one of the first people that really showed me, like, social media can be a business. Social media can be something, because she was, sharing what restaurants she was going to, sharing the food. People were inviting her to events, like food and wine festivals, things like that. And I was like, this is cool. And she's super stylish. She loves all black, but she always had really cool style. And I never was one to wear black before I met her, but, she gave me that cool girl edge style. And, we are, I think, like 5 or 6 years apart in age, but just have always been really close. And I'm really happy that, as we get older, we stay close. And now that I'm back in Miami, she's in Fort Lauderdale, we can connect and go to events together and do stuff together, and that I get to share her story with you guys, because everyone wants to know how to be on social media now, right? And I think it's really cool that she is doing it in her own unique way as a food blogger. She is one of the first people that I ever knew was a food blogger. And it's just really cool to see how her business has grown in the last, 6-7 years that I've known her, which is insane. So without further ado, meet my G-Big, Taylor. I'm so excited to have you on. We've been talking off air, but for those who don't know, which is most people because they haven't seen us together in years, but Taylor is my G-Big in my sorority from college. So we've known each other since 2015.
Yes.
Which is insane.
Backstory there.
I know. And we haven't seen each other in person in like 5 or something years. Yeah. Like it's been a long time. So I'm really excited to catch up and get to share Taylor's story and what she's up to, because she is the girl behind Taysty Travels, and she is a food blogger in South Florida. And before we dive into that, I want to go beneath the surface. What's something that people wouldn't know about you just from following you?
Well, I was going to say that you and I were in the same sorority.
Okay. Well,
Does
something
that work?
else.
I feel like that's a fair answer. Something, I don't know. I feel like that they don't know about me. Okay, wait, this might be a really bad answer, but I'm going to say it because I was looking at photos earlier, but that I have been paragliding. Like I jumped off a mountain. So
that's so cool.
That. I've been trying to post more travel. So I was looking at those photos the other day and I was like, oh, so there you go.
That's so cool. I want to do more adventure stuff like that. So that's cool. Where'd you do it?
It was awesome. I did it in Aspen in Colorado. I don't know if you remember us chatting about it, but I go every summer. Yeah. So my mom's done it a few times. My sister and I have only done it once, but I would do it again. It was intense, but it was awesome.
I want to go. I've never been to Colorado in the summer. I was actually just in Breckenridge. We did like the skiing thing. I've never been to Aspen, and I've never been during the summer. And I want to go whitewater rafting and like do the hikes and stuff. And I really like Denver. I had never been. I want to explore it more and just see what's up out there.
Yeah, same. I usually go just kind of like to Aspen. I've been to Breckenridge and Denver, but not for long periods of time. And especially now with Taysty Travels, like Denver has such a good food scene.
Yes.
So I've been wanting to maybe do a little road trip or something.
Yeah.
It's in the works.
There's one restaurant in Denver that I literally, we ordered the same plate like 2 or 3 times. It was so good. We were like,
what was it called?
It's called Tavernetta. It's in Denver. Okay. It's like an Italian place. It's not crazy expensive. Like it's like a mid-range, but the food quality and just the experience is like top.
Oh, cool.
It's so good. Yeah, definitely have to check it out when you go. But yeah, so you want to get more into travel blogging, but you started off as a food blogger. When did you start the social media thing and start blogging, and why food?
Well, I mean, why not food? Who doesn't love food? But I guess my little spiel is that, so I thought of the name, well, my mom's home, so if she hears me, she technically thought of the name Taysty Travels. She'll be like, no, it wasn't you. But we thought of the name I want to say it was like 2015. It was years ago. And I just made the account, but it kind of just sat there. Like I never thought of it as a business. I had other jobs. I was working events for different companies here in South Florida. So it kind of just sat there. And then it was about 2-3 years ago now that I really started just posting. I was at kind of a transition of what I wanted to do next in my life. And I just started meeting people. I got invited to a couple media events, and people were like, you could do this full time. And I was like, stop. Like, really? And then it kind of just took off. So to answer your question, it's been 2-3 years kind of full time, but the name, and I'm glad that I, made it and saved it on different social platforms and all that was years ago.
Yeah, because I remember when we met, you were just doing really events, and you were on social media. We all were, but it wasn't a thing yet. And then I remember a couple years later, one of the next times I saw you, you had already kind of started laying the groundwork for it. And
exactly,
I know it's funny. You always have to give credit to our parents because sometimes they help us come up with things.
Yeah, totally.
But I've always loved the name Taysty Travels because it's a play on your name, which is super cool. But yeah, so you went to UCF, that's where you went to college, University of Central Florida. You studied event management.
Yes.
And what did that entail? Like, what were you doing for event companies? Was it hotels? Was it planning weddings? Was it planning like conferences? Like what'd you do with an event management degree?
Yeah, definitely. So on my experience, I definitely have bounced around. How I mentioned, We go to Colorado every summer. I worked for an event planner out there. We did like primarily weddings. So I've done weddings. Here in South Florida, I worked for an experiential marketing company. So it was a lot of like branded events like Heineken, that sort of thing. I've done trade shows. So I kind of like was bouncing around trying to figure out what I liked, what I loved. And looking back, I definitely had that learnings, and then Tasty Travels started. But if I ever got back into events, like weddings was a lot. I loved
Yeah.
more the experiential marketing. So even now with Tasty Travels, when I go to like unique pop-ups and stuff, I'm just in awe. Like I think it's so cool to see how brands like really come to life.
Yeah, I agree. I think I love, like, I'm super excited to get involved as an influencer in going to those events because just seeing them and like, we have friends who run companies and do that kind of thing and work with brands and hotels, and just seeing how it all comes together. I think it's
Yeah.
so cool. And definitely that experience that you got doing that has helped you with Tasty Travels because it gave you the connections to be able to then have a media dine instead of, working the media dines.
Yeah. No, definitely.
So that's super
Definitely.
cool.
Yeah, and I would even, I mean, I've been brainstorming that I would even love to somehow incorporate like my knowledge and experience of events into Tasty Travels. Like I have helped restaurants organize media dines and things like that, but I could somehow combine both. So if you ever have any ideas, let me know.
I
I'm
would
always
need to think a
brainstorming,
little bit more, but I have like a semblance of an idea of things that, yeah, like that would be really cool.
right?
And also like you can make like your own agency that is focused on helping other food bloggers kind of do it in that like arm and have your
Totally.
blogging side and then like the agency side.
Totally.
um because you have those connections to be able to do that and then work with event companies and restaurants and things like that. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because usually when people meet me, they're just like, "Oh, you take pictures of food," and I'm like, "No, I have all this other experience too. So
Yeah.
let's chat about it."
Yeah, so talking about that, taking pictures of food, how does one, you know, starting a food blog is fairly simple, run an Instagram account, you take pictures of the plate, make them pretty and post about it, tag the restaurant. That's like the very, very like simplified version of it. How do
Yeah.
you start making that a business and working with brands and media dines and really making money off this where you are able to take it full time?
I mean, it's definitely been a journey and it's been a learning. Like I said, even though I thought of, well, my mom thought of the name, we thought of the name many years ago. Figuring out that this could be full time or like that I could be compensated for my work has been even till this day such a step by step. I remember being at my first dine. It was a media dine that I was invited to. It was an Italian place in Wynwood, and people sitting at the table, "Oh, did you get this email for this campaign?" Or, "Oh, are you?" And I was just sitting there, like absorbing it, like, wait, like there's so much opportunity. So just like step by step, learning, hearing different things, and then of course doing my own research. But it's not like I went to college and there was a course for this, and it's like, okay, now this is how you do a media kit. I remember when I first even heard about a media kit, and now I'm so proud of the one that I've put together and that I send out, and it has my rates and all my insights. And but yeah, it's just been a learning, figuring it out.
Yeah. It's crazy because you're right. Like all of us that are doing social media, there is no course in college that teaches you how to do it. Like marketing majors, that definitely helps to some
Of
extent.
course.
Event planning, like that definitely helps. Like fashion design, if you want to be a fashion model or fashion like influencer, it definitely helps you. But at the end of the day, this industry is like a mix of so many other different types of industries. And as an influencer, you are a photographer, you are a model, you are, the marketing person behind the concept. You have to know some legal side and business side to protect your interests and, make sure you're signing rights away, especially if you can't afford to hire these people onto your team or outsource that work. So there's so much more that goes into it. You don't just, you kind of have to learn by just doing. And yeah, I think that's big too, like being around people and just like, oh, what did that person say? And like, hey, like I heard you say this, like, could you explain to me what you were talking about? And like, one that makes connections to you're gaining information that way. I think that's super, super important. And I'm happy you mentioned that because I think
Yeah.
it's so difficult to people are like, oh, it's just taking pretty pictures. There's so much more that goes into.
Yeah, no, especially when it becomes like for me how now it's become full time. I didn't even think of this at the beginning, but now I'm like, oh, I have to read this contract and I have to send out this invoice, and I'm writing up invoices late at night. And no, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And even for the photos, since I started introducing myself in front of the camera, like depending on what I'm capturing, like I have to think about, okay, this is for Kahlua, so what am I going to wear? And there's just so many, different things to it. But I love it, and I really appreciate everybody at the beginning. I always say this, that kind of answered my questions or provided those little tidbits that kind of helped me, and because I wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
you know.
You recently told me that you're starting to be more in front of the camera. When was that transition for you? And because some food bloggers from the beginning are in the pictures themselves, and some are just, the food, the plate, so, why did you not put yourself in front of the camera initially? And then when did you realize, like, okay, like I should be doing this, and now you're transitioning to doing that?
Yeah, no, totally. So, I mean, it started off just as food, and I guess it's been 2 years now, like starting to take pictures of myself and showing more like who's behind the camera. I'm trying to think. I don't really remember why the transition, but more I just figured why not? Like I have always loved Instagram. I'm sure what you kind of remember when we first met in Katie, like I've always loved taking pictures. And I saw that other people really, I guess, who had a lot of growth were sharing more of themselves, which I know I need to even be better at and continue to do so. Like today, when you were like, oh, let's film, like taking pictures of myself and like, okay, I can pose and all that, but still speaking on camera, I'm like, there's
It
that
takes
slow adjustment.
It's a learning curve for sure. It's
Yeah,
definitely really, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not as easy as just taking a pretty picture. There's so much more that goes into it. You have to
totally,
engage with your audience, whether it's your face or not, but you're talking to them. The words that you say, that is part of your brand, making sure the voice is authentic to you and it's
totally.
consistent. And it's funny, like when I first met you, you were just scratching the surface and getting into this, but you know, you're my G big, so like my grand big, I had like your little is my big, but I was closer to you because I looked up like what you were doing. I'm like, oh, like I like, I don't know. I wouldn't say like
There
I
was
give
that
you,
common
there
interest.
was a common interest,
Yeah.
like you are someone that I would credit with like inspiring, that like, okay, like I can do something like this, like taking pictures and stuff. Because
Oh, cool.
in college, you know now like every sorority girl is an influencer too, but that
Yeah.
wasn't a thing when I was in college. When you were in college, it just started picking up as my senior year, my first year out of college, that started becoming a thing. But I laid the groundwork because I saw you doing it, and like you were taking pictures of certain things. Like I remember we were talking about this off air. We went to Universal City Walk, and like
Yeah.
we went to this like the chocolate emporium, whatever it's
Uh-huh.
called,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
like those really cool milkshakes, and like taking pictures of those. And like you were doing it for your food blog, and I was like, oh, I can share that I'm going to these things. And like
Yeah.
that's really where it all began, I think, for both of us. And like I went more the lifestyle route, you went more the food route. But yeah, there's so much more that goes into it, and you're starting to show your face more. And I think that's, how do you come up with a brand concept? Like you said, like if I'm working with Kahlua, making sure my outfit matches,
Yeah.
like how do you, like you have an eye for the colors and the plates and the lighting and cameras and all of that for sure, but the brand concept when you work with Kahlua, what like what is a typical like brief tell you, and then how do you start coming up with like the creative concept that you share on your
Yeah,
account?
totally. So, I mean, every situation, every brand that I've worked is different. Some are like super organized and give you a whole PowerPoint presentation. Of course, this is just based on my experience, but some send you a whole presentation of these are our brand colors. This is how we want the shot. We want you in the shot. Oh, you can incorporate your boyfriend or not, things like that. So some are very detailed. And then I had a call, I can't say yet, but with a beverage company just last night. And they were like, nope, we want to work with you. You can do whatever you want. You could hula hoop, you could wear overalls. Of course, I'm not going to do that, but they were like, whatever you want. So it really just depends on the brand. But for what you know of me, I wear a lot of black. Black's like my
Yeah.
go-to. So it has been a personal, interesting transition all of a sudden buying hot pink tops or bright orange. And I know it looks good for the photo and I want to, do the best work for the brand. But on off camera, a lot of people, especially my family, are like, wait, you weren't in black? Like, I never thought I would see Taylor Dante in a hot pink
I
top.
know.
You
I
gotta step
remember
out
you
of the
came to
box.
visit one time and your whole suitcase was black. I was just like, and our like
It's my
Janae,
go-to.
My big, your little, like, is all colored
Yeah,
sparkles, like glitter,
very different
pink,
that
hot,
way.
like all this rainbow, and we're in just complete polar opposites. And like I was kind of in the middle, and I think I've gotten
Yeah,
more to you where I'm more neutral, and like my mom hates that I wear black, so it's just funny. Like I think I started getting that from you. Like you're the first person I really saw, like, you know,
sorry.
like a very chic, like edgy, like feminine but edgy, like all black. So I was like, oh, I like that. I started doing that more in college. My
I
mom's like,
like it too. I mean,
it
my
works
mom's
for you.
that way. My sister, not like we're all black, like creepy, scary like that. But I don't know. We're just it's our vibe.
But is it hard for you? Like, I mean, it's definitely uncomfortable. It's out of your comfort zone. But, do you see your style changing to more incorporate color in your everyday style? Or is it like strictly like for the brand you wear the color and then in your personal life you wear black? Like,
Yeah, no,
are the lines blurring?
good color. I mean, good color. Good question. Yeah, no, I definitely do see myself incorporating color a little more. We can't be crazy now, but into my personal life because it is fun. And as I've gotten older, I definitely want to, evolve and change. I can't wear a black t-shirt and jeans every single day as much as I want to. I have like Taysty Travels t-shirts that are usually my go-to, and I was so tempted to put one on, and then I was like, no, be a little cuter for Kayla. But yeah, no, but mostly like a lot of like I'm a huge Amazon addict. I love Amazon. So especially a lot of like my brighter tops, I just get off Amazon, and I have like a whole Amazon crazy colored top photo drawer just because it's, easy go-tos.
That's so funny. Do you have
Yeah.
you should get like an Amazon storefront and like share, like, you could
I've been
totally
meaning
do
to.
that. Like share like the behind the scenes of creating the image, and like this is how I picked out my outfit and this is where I shop for. Like you can like, and like start, because you want to be more in front of the camera too, you can expand into that kind
Yeah,
of thing. That would be cool. Um
something to think about.
yeah, no, there's so much, and I think that's the cool thing too. Like you saying, you're always going to be evolving. That's the cool thing. You started off very niche, which people say to do, but over time it has expanded as you've grown and you've evolved as a person, and now bringing that
Totally.
into your content and sharing more the behind the scenes of working with brands and going to events and what goes into taking these photos and that kind of thing. Talking about what goes into photos, do you have any like tips for someone who wants to go into food blogging, camera, equipment, how to reach out to brands, how to present yourself as a food blogger?
Ooh, well, that's a lot in one. So no. But yeah. Okay, so let's start with photos. I think everybody has their own techniques. I know some really big creators that are swear by just taking photos on an iPhone, and then there's some people that just swear by their Sony Alpha camera. Personally, I do both. I have a camera. It is a Sony. I obviously use my iPhone all the time. So I use both, and I say to anybody, just really do what interests you, what works in your budget. But if you are looking to get started, I mean, especially in this day of age of social media, just get started. I mean, you never know. I post content and it flops, or I post content like something I posted the other day on TikTok and it got like 1 million views. And I think it was a video I put together randomly at like 4 in the morning. So my
I've
advice
heard
always
that
to
those
people,
do better. Like the ones that you
oh
don't
yeah,
think are gonna do well, that you don't try,
100%,
like those do so much better. And it's like,
100%.
what?
Yeah, 100%. But you don't know. So always my advice is just like get started and just kind of do what you love. That was really my transition from why I just don't only want to cover food, is because I genuinely love travel. So, obviously, as you know, I've been with my boyfriend for a really long time. So that's why I started incorporating him into it. It's just like I want to stay true to myself and share what I love because that's going to be the best content.
Yeah, absolutely. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like when your audience sees that it's authentic to you, it's genuine to you, they
Totally.
respond to it so much better. And showing that, I'm Tasty Travels, but I'm also Taylor. And like,
Yeah,
this is what I
exactly.
do as Taylor, and bringing that in. And yeah, you briefly mentioned you've had a boyfriend for like forever,
Ever,
since
forever.
literally forever, uh, 13 years. And is he still playing professional soccer?
So he plays now professionally. He's gotten into beach soccer, kind of a transition with COVID and just life, but I'm happy about it because we're not long distance anymore on a
Yeah.
personal note. So he's here in Miami, he's doing what he loves, and he's also been coaching, but he's still very much in the soccer world.
Yeah,
He
but I was
forever
just
will
saying
be.
that because that's how you got into travel. I mean, you love to travel, you grew up
Yeah,
traveling, but like that's you were traveling so much more because you guys were long distance and, sharing the food that you're eating on those trips and bringing him
totally,
along and
totally.
experiencing that with him is really cool. And, how are you want to transition to being a travel blogger? How are you kind of making that transition? Are you reaching out to hotels or are you just going to hotels and Airbnbs and like places you're staying and like tagging them and then maybe working with them the next time? How are you transitioning to travel blogging?
Yeah, it's really just a combination, honestly, just a mix. I mean, I personally do travel a good bit on my own. Last year, actually, speaking of Nico, I got to go to Russia because he played in the World Cup for beach soccer. So I traveled with a friend of mine and got content through that. So just slowly but surely incorporating travel content into my page, but definitely I've had some opportunities from that arise. Last year, I collaborated with the city of Las Vegas and I was there for a week, like hotel stay, dinners, certain attractions that they wanted me to cover. And that was like insane to think that such a big city wanted to work with me. And we had this whole itinerary and everything was covered. And so it's really just a combination of getting those collabs, but also just genuinely like when I was recently in Nashville, here's, things from my personal trip that I'm going to share.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Do
I love it.
you have a manager? Are you the one reaching out to brands
Mm.
and negotiating the deals yourself?
Yeah,
You.
it's all me. I would love to say that I had a team. I mean, I guess I could say that Nico does always help me. If I didn't give my family a shout out, everybody, my sister, my mom, my cousin Kelsey, and my dad, everybody is kind of had a hand in some part of Tasty Travels at some point. But yeah, no, it's mainly just me. I'm always researching or seeing brands that I want to work with and whether they contact me or I always tell people like have no shame to reach out and be like, hey, here's my idea. I would love to work with you because you just never know.
Absolutely. I'm a firm believer in just pitching yourself and
Yourself, exactly.
you never know what's going to come out of it. That's how I've been able to build this podcast. I just reach out to people I'm friends with on Instagram like, "Hey, I love what you're doing. Would you want to come and talk about this and how you got started in it?" And here we are. Um
Totally.
so I love that. That's so cool that you got to work with the city of Las Vegas and I want to get more into like working with brands, not just going to events and like fashion shows and that type of thing, but also like, you know, event brand like our hotel launches or like restaurant openings and like
Yeah.
covering that, but also just because that's something that I genuinely enjoy as a person. Like I want to go to the new restaurant opening and try out the new cocktail menu and things like that. So that's super cool. Definitely got to get tips from you on how to do that. But
Yeah.
on your Instagram, you call yourself the chief eating officer. Where did
Yes.
that come from? I love that, by the way.
So I actually, as you just said that, was thinking in my head, wait, that's going to be her next question. And I honestly don't know that. I don't know. I guess I'll just give my mom credit again, but I don't feel like I saw it online somewhere randomly, or I honestly don't know. And if I discover the answer, I will circle back to you. I don't know if that's horrible that I don't know, but I don't recall, but I've been saying it for such a long time now. I really want to make, I have personally, but I like want to make them to like give out shirts just because I think it's such a fun thing.
It's
I don't
so
know.
cute. It's
Love
different.
it.
It's
Thank you.
it's I don't know. I've always loved that. Yeah, I think you've had that there for a
A
while,
while. Yeah, I don't
but
remember where it originated.
I was curious.
Yeah.
Candy, you're your mom. Candy always having the best ideas, I guess.
Yeah. I'm sure
Um,
she's going to appreciate all the shout outs.
yeah, I'm sure. You mentioned Vegas. You got to go to Russia. What are your favorite cities that you've experienced, whether in travel or food, and like your favorite cuisines and like where do you love to where do you keep going back to or places that you want to try out?
Oof, great, 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 great questions. Well, I did really enjoy Russia a lot more. I shouldn't say than I thought. I just didn't really have expectations. And then when this trip came about with Nico, my friend Valentina, we were just like, let's go, let's do this. And we both loved it. I've been to Paris a couple times now. And how could you not love Paris? A couple years ago, actually, I don't know if you remember Christine from KD. She was in my grade. I don't know if you ever did because she actually graduated early. But her and I did like a big trip throughout Europe in different parts after I graduated college, and I loved Germany. Like I just thought
Never
it
been.
was super cool and unique, and it just had this very fun vibe. And then places that I want to go to, Greece is on my list. It's been on my list for a while, and then I'd like to cover Asia in that part of the world that I haven't really. I don't know. I feel like I could just keep naming and naming because I've been very fortunate that I've had a lot of good travels, and whether it's been with good friends or family, like I've gotten lucky on all my trips.
Yeah. I've only been to Paris once when I studied abroad. I need to go back. And
Okay.
I've never done Germany, but Greece is beautiful. You
Oh,
would
you've been to
definitely.
Greece? Yes, I kind of
Yeah,
recall.
I went in college with
Okay.
my family once. Where is your favorite city foodie wise that you've gone into, whether it's US or abroad?
Hmm. I mean, obviously here in Miami, we're very fortunate that we
Oh,
have
we're gonna get to that in a second.
delicious options. I mean, it's interesting because in my a lot of these travels, I didn't have Tasty Travels. No play on words there. So it was more just like random restaurants and little things. So I really wish that I got to deeper dive, when I was there, but hopefully I'll go back in the future. But I guess just New York comes to mind because even my last trip, I just recall in a day being able to go from everything to like the coolest hole in the wall pizza spot to like fine dining that night and just getting such an array, not only of content, but of experience food wise.
Yeah.
So
I
how
love
can
that. I mean, I'm all about high low like fashion, but definitely food too. Like I want
same.
to know like the little mom and pop hole in the wall secret places that only locals know. Even when I'm traveling, especially when I'm traveling, I don't want to go to like the same places that everyone's posting about. And I know
Same.
you're the same way too. And then, but I also definitely do want to go to like the nice, like fancy, like
Yeah,
fine
it's a
dining, get
it's
all
a
dressed up.
concept.
Um, but yeah, I agree. Miami, though, we are really lucky to be from and living in a place that is so multicultural and diverse and so much food and music and the experiences. What are some of your favorite restaurants and experiences in Miami right
Mhm.
now?
I mean, the list is endless. I always am just like,
Mine
there's
too.
not enough time or days in the week to cover all the restaurants that I always want to try. I mean, Nico and I are always writing spots down, and then it's unfortunate that even though this is what I do, like months will go by, and it's like, how have we not been there yet? But I don't know. There's so many spots that I love. Well, it's kind of a silly answer, but I guess it is my true answer that one of my favorite restaurants is Houston's.
I don't think I've been there.
You've never been to a Houston's or a Hillstone? Do you know Hillstone?
Hillstone. Hillstone,
Okay,
I've
so
been.
it's the same. Okay.
Okay.
It's the same. And I just grew up going there. For me, their food is always a 10 out of 10. The service, everything. And I know that's not like a local gem. Whenever people are like, what's your favorite restaurant? That really truly is mine. And in Miami, there's just so many good places. I recently, not for the first time, one of many, had Mr. O1 Pizza.
I
And to
didn't
me,
like it the first time
you
I went.
didn't?
I know
Oh, that's the
everyone
best
is so
pizza,
mad at me when
in my
I say
opinion.
that. I think I went on an off night and I need to go back.
Okay, so we'll go. We can go
Okay.
when you get to town. That can be
Yeah.
a spot easily
Perfect.
to go to.
Yeah. I have
But
a
yeah.
whole list too. We need to compare lists and maybe, ooh, I should have you, I'm going to have you write like a guest blog post and share your favorite Miami recommendations. So they see like mine
Okay.
and then like a food bloggers. Cause I
Yeah.
have like my favorites and then I share the list of places are on my list to go to that I haven't been to
Fun.
yet, but so they can see yours and like you definitely been to a lot more places than me because I haven't been living there as much recently. But when
Yeah.
I come home and when I move home, I wanna if Nico can't go and you don't have a friend or family member, hi, I want to come.
No,
I just
people
want to
tell me that all the time.
I
So
know.
it's
I
good
think
to
I've been
know.
telling you that since I was 17 and we met. But I really want to just experience more restaurants and like all the new hot spots that are happening. Right now I'm really dying to go to Carbone. I don't know if you've been, but
Yeah, I have.
that's like it's so basic. I hate that that's like where I really want to go. There, Mila,
Okay.
and some of like the sushi places, Akashi I've heard.
Have you seen, I haven't been yet, but photos of the new sushi place? I want to say it's around Brickell area called Sexy Fish.
I did yesterday. Someone or Emily Sobel, I'm sure you follow
Okay.
her.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
was there a couple days ago, and I was like, "Oh my god, I need to like, I want to go home."
It's stunning. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, or hopefully I'm saying this correctly, but I'm pretty sure they're out of London. And the renovation for the restaurant here in Miami was like millions and millions of dollars. Like the space looks insane.
Yeah, I think it is out of London. I can only
Yeah, I'm
imagine
pretty
it was
sure.
that expensive because it was so decadent and
Exactly. It's a good
it
word
was,
for it.
oh my God, it's so beautiful. Like that's an experience. That's the thing
Totally.
with a lot of these places in Miami, that they are an experience, and like you're gonna have to, unless you have that much money, like just for like that you can, like you have to save up. Like if they're special treats, but I'm dying to like be able to do those more often, like at least once a month or once every other month, like go to like one of the new nice restaurants. I'm trying to think where else I'm really dying to go to right now. There's a
I
whole
really want to go to, not to cut you off, and hopefully I pronounce it right. You should add it to your list in the design district, Cote.
Yes, I haven't
I'm
been.
always bitching it.
My cousin and like my aunt went there for Mother's Day or one of those, and they loved it. I'm dying to go there
I've
too.
heard great reviews.
Yeah, I mean it's Korean barbecue, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, like all those Asian restaurants. There's so many Asian restaurants opening up in Miami, and I'm dying to go to them.
I know. There's a lot. There's never, that's what I'm saying. There's just never enough time in a day to eat it all, to try them all, but
No, yeah,
slowly but
we'll get
surely.
there. But yeah,
Yeah.
we definitely should compare lists and start kicking them off the list as we go. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really glad that you got to come on and we got to catch up. And
Yes.
we
Thank you.
definitely
Thank
need
you.
to be better about staying in touch. But what is next for you? Any cool trips you're going on? Any restaurants you're going to be checking out soon so people know to look out for them?
Well, definitely the ones that we mentioned are on the list. I have some more like US travel kind of planned at the moment. I'm looking into some international travel for this year because I definitely want to continue to share that, to showcase that. But yeah, just keep pushing it, sharing what I love. I'm always brainstorming new ideas, and hopefully we'll see what kind of new and interesting partnerships arise for this year. It's still the beginning of the year, so it's always exciting to see what's going to happen. But yeah, just keep a lookout. Taysty Travels. I've been really pushing more TikTok and other platforms as well to expand that way, and just keep it moving.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll link all of that in the show notes so they can go check you
Yeah,
out and connect
awesome.
with you.
I'm so glad we chatted though. This
Yeah,
was fun.
yeah, it was so fun. I'm so glad you got to come on.
I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode and enjoyed seeing a sneak peek into my friendships with a few people who have known me for such a long time and have known and seen me grow up and really gotten to know me. And this week's episode with Taylor, who's known me forever, and Yasmin, my best friend, who has been my best friend for the last 3 years. And I'm just really excited to be able to bring you guys these conversations with my friends, people that inspire me, and people that are doing really cool things, and just, of course, as always, encourage you and inspire you and give you the tools to do what makes you happy and what fulfills you. I look forward to hanging out with Taylor now that I am home and going to events, so be sure to follow us both on social media to keep up with us and see where we're off to traveling, where we're eating, what we're up to in Miami and abroad. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, please leave a rating and review. Please subscribe to the show or follow along, depending on if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcast. Screenshot, tag us if you're listening, share it with a friend. It's the best way to grow to the show, and it really does mean the world to me. I love seeing you guys share that you're listening, and your DMs and comments telling me you guys loved an episode or who I've talked to. And oh yeah, and fun fact, Sierra Brewer, her episode hasn't gone live yet. She is the host of the Morning Muse podcast, but she featured my episode with Scout Sobel a couple episodes back as her final high school paper, and the power of podcasts and interview style and personal connections and sharing your story online, which I thought was super, super cool. I totally forgot to mention that in the intro, so I wanted to throw it in here. But thank you guys so much for listening. I really, really appreciate it, and I can't wait to chat with you guys next week while I'm already in the middle of bar prep, so we'll do a little bit of a additional life update and tell you how it's going there. Hope you all have a beautiful Memorial Day weekend, and thank you all so much for listening. Talk to you guys next week.